Hey everyone, in this video, I wanted to demonstrate some tools that can be useful in estimating what your current grade is and also get you thinking about how you can estimate your final grade as we are approaching the end of the term. So what I have here is just a fictitious example of the way a class may be broken down. Now, one of the reasons why it can be difficult to estimate what our current grade is because there are different categories that you are graded on, but not everything is weighted the same. So in this example that I'm using, we have maybe participation is 5%, maybe midterms are 30%, and I want to teach you how you can take the information of your grades from D2L and to use that to create a current grade estimate. So one thing that is really useful is finding a grade calculator online. So right here, I just typed in grade calculator into my URL. I just clicked the first link that showed up. And I wanted to talk about how this works and then how I'm sure very other websites will work the same way. So in this column, you can label each of your categories if you want to, but it's the weight that you want to make sure you're matching up. So using that pie chart that I created, we assume that participation was 5% of your overall grade. Quizzes are 10% of your overall grade in this example. Now, in this section, what I would do is I would go to the grade tab in D2L, and while you have grades for individual assignments that you turn in, you also have an information that summarizes, there's a column that summarizes your overall average grade for each of those categories. So what you can do is you can take those averages in those columns and you can put them in this right here. So what I've done is I've created a fictitious student who, let's say they have 100% participation, they're averaging 65 in quizzes, their homework is 91, and this question is, okay, well, what is their current grade? So before I show you, I should let you know that this isn't the exact grade that they have at that moment, because this is assuming that they have maybe averaged 65% on all of the quiz throughout the term. And because we haven't finished the entire term yet, they still have some quizzes to do. So when we click calculate our grade, it's not telling you exactly what your current grade is at this very moment. It's telling you if you behave the same exact way that you're behaving right now for the rest of the term, what would your current grade be before taking like a final exam or something? Notice that, yeah, I specifically didn't put the final exam in right here. So if I go to calculate, I can go down here and it says that right now this student has a 79.38 in the class. So this is useful like throughout the term. If you get more information or your grades update, you can try to update this by just make it more accurate, and you can see, okay, how does that change what my current grade estimate is? And then a lot of websites also have these things called, what grade would I need to get on the remaining assignments in order to get a final grade of 85%. So like I said, I didn't include the final exam in this because we haven't gotten to that point yet. But let's say you know that your current grade is a 79 and you're saying, okay, I just want to get to an 80. Then you could say, what grade would I need to get for everything else, like the final exam? If you go down here, it says that you would need to get an 80.58 for everything else. So at this point, everything else for this student would just be the final exam. So if you could get an 80.58, then you would get an 80% in the class. Now we can see sometimes it also may tell us things that would not be possible. So if you have a 79.69 in the class right now, like just based on your current, what you've been performing, and you just had the final exam left, you could say, would it be possible for me to get a 90% in the class overall? And if we check, it says you would need to get a 109% on the final exam if your grade before the final was almost an 80 to get a 90 in the class. So this information is helpful because it also tells us, what we can grow by, and also if there's anything we have to fix before we go into the final. So for example, as I said here, this is an estimate of if you continued at the same level of work that you've been doing. So we haven't finished all of our homework assignments, we haven't finished all of our quizzes. So if you're trying to get that final grade and when you checked, it was like, okay, you have to get more than 100%, it's still possible for you to get the grade that you want, but you have to now probably put in a little bit more work in one or more of the categories in order to make that probability go higher. So for example, let's say if you increase your homework average by a few percentage points and you do better on the quiz, we can just see how this changes. Your current grade becomes an 82, and it still wouldn't be enough to get a 90%, so we'd have to do a little bit more, and you can just play around with it here. So the nice thing is that there's an infinite number of ways that you can kind of you can create your final grade that you want to, but that also makes it a little bit complicated, which is why I wanted to create this video. So I hope this video was useful in teaching you how you can come up with an estimate of your current grade, and also how you can estimate what your final grade is before we head into final exam time.